مامۆستا شفان دەست پێ دەکەین. مامۆستایانی بەڕێز بەخێر بێن لە بۆ سیمینارێکی تر و وێبنارێکی تر بە ناوی ڕۆڵی ژیری دەستکرد لە بەرزکردنەوەی کارایی و کوالیتی و توێژینەوەی زانستی. وێبنارەکەی یان سیمینارەکەی ئەوڕۆمان بە زمانی ئینگلیزی دەبی بۆ ئاگاداریتان. Dr. Jones, just give me 5 minutes to introduce yourself and our organization, and then I will let you know to start your presentation, okay?
Yes, doctor.
Thanks. بەناوی خوای گەورە مێرەبان. Hello everyone. Today we're going to start a new webinar entitled The Role of Artificial Intelligence in Enhancing the Efficacy and the Quality of Scientific Research. Today we are so proud as a state organization for statistical data analysis and training that one of the high qualified person in here to deliver one of the topic about the artificial intelligence and what's the relationship between artificial intelligence and what's the benefit for the AI for enhancing our research. Let me introduce the STAT organization first. The STAT organization is non-governmental scientific organization established in 2019 in Kurdistan region of Iraq. It promoted data-driven research, statistical analysis, and GIS-based solutions. Also, conduct survey on immigration, social issues, climate changes, and other public concerns. Also, the STAT organization gonna provide consultancy in market research, socio-economics, and policy analysis, feasibility, and impact assessment, and data visualizations. Also, support universities, researchers with research design, statistical models, and database management. Also, we can say our STAT organization, it was founded by a multidisciplinary team of PhD or master's degree experts in statistics, economics, management, laws, engineering, medicine, biology, and programming. Also, we're going to operate nationwide with qualified field-term experience in mobile data collection and professional in SPSS data and R. Now, let me introduce our speaker for today. Our speaker is Dr. John Yon John. He's going to represent the topic, as we mentioned before, the role of artificial intelligence in enhancing the efficacy and the quality of the scientific research. Who is the Mr. John? I will a little bit talk about himself in here and a little bit talk about his biography. He has a master's degree. He has a master's degree in information and data science at the University of California in 2024. Also, he's a director level professional with more than 10 years experience leading development and humanization programs. Also, he's currently serving as COICA country director in Erbil, Iraq. He integrates AI and data science experts with field-based leadership to drive digital innovations. Also, he has applied generative NLP models to detect redundancy in development projects. He has built just specialized dashboard for data-driven project analysis and decision-making. He is recognized for advancing digital transformation in ODA and humanitarian operations. He has a proven ability to convert complex data into strategic insights for program efficacy and impacts. That's a small biography for Dr. John Young. Thank you so much for your coming. Thank you so much for your time to deliver one of the greatest topics for nowadays. Now I'm gonna let you now to start your presentation. Here you go, doctor. You can share your PowerPoints also.
Thank you, Dr. Bilbas. I hope you can see my screen. Is it?
Yes, yes, we can see it. Everyone can see?
All right.
Yes, yes, they have been written. Thank you. Go ahead. All
right, let's start. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming to today's webinar. As introduced, my name is Junyoung Jong, head of KOICA, and also Master of Information and Data Science, in other words, Artificial Intelligence. And today I prepared a presentation about empowering research analysis with modern AI technology. I heard that the majority of the audience is researchers and are not AI engineers. So today, I won't be talking like a programmer, but more like a general storyteller to help your understanding. Meanwhile, I proceed with the presentation today. Anytime when you have anything to ask or you want to talk about, just please jump in. I prefer interactive presentations. Okay, so now let's start. Let me first start with my introduction, although already I have been introduced shortly. I have a quite interesting career story. My first job was a software engineer. My major as an undergraduate was computer science. So I started as a database architect in the intellectual property sector. So like patents and designs. Later, I started working in foreign countries such as Egypt, Cameroon, Kazakhstan, and Iraq, and started to design and manage patent databases. Afterwards, I entered KOICA, Korea International Cooperation Agency, as a development officer because I set a personal mission to support countries that need assistance. Just like South Korea in the 1950s, our country is one of the known countries that received aid and grew and become what we are now. And now I am serving as the resident representative country director here in Erbil. And even after that, I kept going on with my professionalism in the IT sector and eventually pursued a master's degree in data science at UC Berkeley. And now I became an AI engineer as well. So I have two identities, one as KOICA's director and the other as a data scientist. In the IT world, we call AI engineers data scientists. So you can consider the two are equal. Right, so next is today's topic. It's about how AI can empower researchers, especially in performance and quality. So generally speaking, the diagram you see on the screen are the known impacts of AI in research labs. First, efficiency. A lot of AI solutions are related to automation. Imagine how much time you use in searching, Googling, indexing, in research. So ever since AI, particularly LLM solutions like ChatGPT were introduced to the world, the time and energy used in this work reduced rapidly. And AI can do much more than that, you know. It can make charts, run automatic analysis, conduct experiments, predictions, and even write draft reports for human beings. So we already know the power of AI and efficiency is already great, and it's getting greater and greater every minute. Second is accuracy, which is very closely related to what I'm going to talk about today. So, you know, in many cases in the world, humans are wrong. We humans make mistakes and errors and even make wrong decisions. AI can support in preventing these errors. For example, let's imagine we are in a chemistry lab and testing a new product before releasing it in the market. So we have operated a lot of experiments and beta product test surveys with a certain number of testers. So a lot of people tried our product. We gathered all these test results and we have the data. But since human makes mistakes, or even intentionally produce wrong or incorrect replies, the final result of the experiments could be manipulated, could be not good in quality. So for researchers, troubleshooting these human errors is time-consuming and very difficult. So we have to go through all the results, all the experiments, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of manpower. However, for AI models, it may just instantly point out the errors just in a few seconds, outliers and malfunctions, and produce a much more accurate and reliable results for the lab. You don't have to use all that time and money on it anymore. Lastly, innovation. So nowadays, since everyone is quite familiar with AI products, you won't even imagine and remember how it was before we had it. So, for example, such as AI diagnosis. In the medical sector these days, in countries like America, we don't even need human doctors to analyze and review MRI or CT images. Doctors don't do that manually anymore already. So if you want to know if this patient has cancer or not, you just put the MRI images in the AI model, and in a few seconds, it will tell this person is suffering from this cancer or this diseases or this illness, just in a few seconds, which used to take a few months. 3 months ago, in July, I remember, Microsoft introduced an AI doctor program they made, and they proved that the accuracy of their AI doctor, the accuracy rate of diagnosis is 4 times better than the average of human doctors. They proved it, and that was a big shock to the market because it felt as if now you're not going to have any more human doctors in the diagnosis world. But that is what's happening in the world these days, right now in 2025. And finally, definitely, it's cost saving. So you only pay a few dollars a month. I think not few, maybe $20 a month for ChatGPT, right? But the value it provides is incompatible with the cost it demands. I went through this very, very quickly because the reason is these are already known. A lot of people already know it, and probably you already know it, or at least heard about these. And if you want to know more about it, you can just go to YouTube. So today, the topic I brought was, let's not focus on things that people already know about. I wanted to make this presentation a little bit more special and different. So I'll focus on a topic that is a bit unique and very recent. And of course, I hope it helps your daily works as well. And if you have any questions, even related to these general topics, just feel free to ask me. I will do my best to be helpful. Okay, now let's get to the main topic of today. Today, I'm going to talk about papers, quality, and performance. So I'm talking about research papers in the academia, particularly in the science sector. So the question is, what makes a good research paper? Probably you have seen something like this diagram, how to write the principles of the good papers, right? But instead of going through the details, let me just point out 2 things. As someone who writes papers as well, all the time I do the job, the 2 most important things are always numbers and reference in the science sector. The question is always, when you try to release or publish a paper, it is prove it, justify it, verify it, and show us that your research is meaningful. That's the purpose and the most important part in writing academic papers, right? And how we do that? With numbers and references. For example, based on the it works like this in academic papers. Based on the experiment is conducted by our lab. I'm sorry, if it was a question, just you can type it or speak out is okay. Like I told you, anytime you can jump in. So it is, for example, based on the experiments, it has been proved that the number of the autism patients has been increasing gradually since 2021, and the increase rate was 2.5%, and compared with all the other cases in different countries, this is 5 times greater than the average result. We write it this way, with exact numbers, precise measurements, and to prove our theory. And also, we use a lot of citations. When we write a paper, an academic paper, we don't do it on our own. There are already a lot of papers released by many doctors, many professors. We use that as citations to make our theory and our statements justifiable. That's how we do it. Anyway, so these are the critical aspects in academic papers and so I will introduce you how AI can help research to overcome this issue, how to make our papers stronger, and how to justify and prove in real numbers and measurements. So before getting to the answer of the question, I'll like to talk just a little bit about something very important, something very well known and everybody's familiar with. Let's talk about LLMs, large language models, we call that. And in other words, ChatGPT. ChatGPT is one of an LLM. And it is like one of a million different kind of things an AI can be. But usually people think AI is GPT. Well, that is not true, but that is popular. So let's talk about a little bit how LLM works and why it is important. So when I have conversations in a coffee shop, like I sometimes ask my friends, do you know what GPT stands for? And 9 of 10 people don't know what GPT stands for. They always talk about ChatGPT, but they don't even know what GMPNT is. So it stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformers. So let me break it down a little bit. Generative means it's generating things. So when you ask or instruct something, if you ask a question in ChatGPT, it makes an answer, right? It can give you an answer in text. It can draw an image. It can make files or audios and even videos. So the key is that GPT is generating something. It's making the outputs. So, you know, many people think that when GPT makes an answer, some people think that it got it somewhere in the web. Probably GPT got it from Twitter or in a blog post and copied it and pasted it to the user. Many people think that's how it works, but that's not true. In reality, what it is doing is it is generating every word one by one at a time. So if it's drawing an image, it's making one pixel and another pixel one by one at a time. Every time requested, it does it. So that's why every time you ask the same question to GPT, the answer is always different. The content could be similar, but the answer itself is different. It's written in different words. That's why it works like that. So that is how it makes the difference with search engines like Google. In Google, when you search a keyword and you type in 100 times the same thing, probably you'll get the same results 100 times, right? But in GPT, when you do that, every 100 times, the answer will be different. That's because it's generating things, and that is why we put the G there. And the next one is pre-trained. The way we train AI models, we call it training, is because before AI, any kind of AI is out on the field, we have to train it on data. And the data is like massive amount of data, like trillions and more than like 100 trillions about it. Like it takes months or even years to train a huge AI model like GPT-5. So after the training is finished, theoretically, that is done. So the information they got during the training, that's all it has. And the information that comes afterwards, AI doesn't know about it. So if you remember, like about 4 years ago when ChatGPT was first out in the field, it was trained on the data up to 2018. So it couldn't answer questions about things that happened after that. I mean, like at the time when you asked ChatGPT, who's the president of the United States, then it answered, it's Donald Trump. That was not true because at the time the president was already Joe Biden, but ChatGPT kept answering, it's Donald Trump. The reason why it happened, it was because it was pre-trained up to the data up to 2018, and the things after it happened, GPT didn't have the information and couldn't answer it that way. Nowadays, it doesn't work like that because different technology is applied, but that was how it used to be, and that is why it was named as pre-trained. And finally, T stands for transformers. This is about technology, and the transformer architecture is like the fundamental main core of all the AI technologies we're talking about these days. Whatever AI you see, agentic AI or human-like AI, general intelligence AI, whatever it is, right now in these days, it comes from transformers, basically. The concept is a bit tricky, and I don't think it's good to explain it because it's all about math, but you can understand it this way. Like The neural networks is about learning. So we're making an AI model that learns from different parts, and every information, if it counted as one cell and you have millions of them, what we do is we try to learn every single cell separately and combine, learn more and combine and keep. This is the way it keeps duplicates and gets greater and greater and make the network more complicated. It's a bit difficult, but if you're interested, I'd recommend you to read a paper written by Google AI scientists in 2017, led by the famous Ashish Vaswani in 2017, and the name of the paper is "Attention is All You Need." This is very famous, so if you're interested, please try to refer to this paper because it's very, very good to read. Anyway, so that is what GPT stands for. And so from now on, if somebody asks you about and talks a conversation about GPT, you can ask them the question, do you know what G and P and T is? And you will be able to answer. Okay, now let's talk about something very serious and interesting and could be even scary. Did you know that AI sometimes lies? Not sometimes, many times. AI makes a lie. And this phenomena is called hallucination. This is a serious issue, scary issue, and it's real. For example, today I asked ChatGPT, who is Junyoung Jung? That the answer you see on the screen is what GPT gave me. And if you read it, it looks to be right, but it's not completely correct. For example, it said, first, I manage like gender-based violence projects in Kurdistan. It said it's written like there, right? Kurdistan region where he oversaw gender-based violence and post-conflict recovery projects. That is a lie. I never did that before here in Kurdistan. I only had a project 5 years ago in Baghdad that was somehow related to gender and conflicts, but this is a different story. And it says I returned to Korea in 2023 and took a role of the manager of the Directorate of Humanitarian Assistance, but that is also a lie because I returned to Korea in 2021. So this is hallucination. The whole story is not false. Most of them are correct, but in between the lines, we have some lies that are not correct. So imagine if you're using ChatGPT or AI in your work as a scientist or a researcher, and you use AI and use their answers, and you later found out that some of them are wrong, and you can't tell which is wrong, then that's going to make serious trouble, right? So that is the issue of hallucination. So then the question comes, why does this happen? Why is GPT lying to us, right? And the answer is, honestly, we don't know. No one knows exactly why. Even AI programmers, like the smartest people in Google Brain, they don't know. We don't know why this happens. Not exactly. We just assume. We assume that since AI is trying to generate a precise answer with limited information, and in the same time is trying to make an answer that is grammatically correct and makes sense in literal natural language, it might be including some false information unintentionally. That's what we think. We don't know exactly why, but maybe that's the reason, because usually hallucination doesn't happen when you ask questions that have enough information and enough data in the world. This happens usually when you're asking something special and unique and not general. So that is what we assume. But anyway, we don't know why it happens, and thus we don't have the perfect solution to solve this. So among many approaches to deal with this problem, there is something called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. That is what we're going to talk about today, and I will introduce you RAG technology and how RAG could be applied to research analysis and how much powerful that can be. All right, I'll try to speed up. I didn't know time is flying. Anyway, so RAG is one of the most trendy and fastly improving sector in AI. This is not something old, and it's right up to date in the Silicon Valley, and a lot of products released every year, I mean, like even this month, is related to RAG. The idea is we don't want ChatGPT to lie anymore. So we bring in a well-trained AI like GPT-5, and what we do, we ground it into a set of trustable documents, documents that you can fully trust, 100% true, and guide GPT to make answers only coming from these set of documents. So if you can't find the information in it, you make AI to answer, not instead of making up the answers, you make it, sorry, I can't find the answer to your question since it's not included in the documents I have. That is what we're trying to do. That is what RAG, that's the primary, objective of RAG. So how it works, first, gather trustable documents. It could be whatever kind of formats, Word or Excel files, even images, videos, it doesn't care. Put it in a single database. And then you break it down into pieces. For example, if you have a 100-page report, you break it down into 60,000 sentences, and then train AI like GPT-5 on those pieces so that AI can learn from what you have, especially you have, is trustable and real and it are not lies. So you're training the AI once more on the trustable data you have. That is how RAG works. So I think I have enough time. So before explaining the theory, let me just show you an example of how it works. This is an AI tool made by myself that implements RAG technology, and it's directly related to the work I do. And this is about a real project that took place this year in Kurdistan, and it's about Kurdistan. And a team of data scientists, including me, were working on this, and we recently finalized our product. So I'm just trying to do a demo, and this might not be directly related to the research work, but I just hope you enjoy it. Okay, so this was what we wanted to solve. Let's start with a problem statement. All the AI projects start with a problem statement, and it is, so I am, as I introduced myself, I am the head of Koika, and basically the work I do is to make projects. What we do is, for the last 15 years, everything I was doing was about projects, how to make good projects to help the country I'm in. But when I was doing this work many times over the last 15 years, I noticed that there are so many projects that are similar, redundant, and duplicates. So harshly speaking, it's looked like a waste of money to me. For example, in a country like Cameroon before, I had a project about e-government patent databases, but I also noticed that there was like 100% same project 5 years ago with EU. But that project, it was working well, but Cameroon government just tried to make an exactly same project with Korea. So as a result, EU already did the job, use of millions of dollars, but Korea is doing the job again, using another millions of dollars. And together we were wasting money, because if EU did it and EU kept supporting that, and Korea could have used that millions of dollars in some other sectors, because Cameroon has a lot of place to for need of aid, that could have been much more better for the country, right? And that is what happens in reality in our work. So our program, what we tried to do was, before launching projects, if we can detect those redundancy and know that if there are already similar projects in the world, and we can allocate the budget we have in sectors that people are not supporting, in total, in the whole picture, for example, for Kurdistan, it's going to be much more effective and useful. That was our idea. And how we did it, we used RAG technology. Now, let me just try a short demo, and then I'll skip back. I hope this is still well showing, right? Okay. I'm sorry, I was just checking the Q&As. Okay, so this is our product. It's live on the server. So let me start it. So this tool is an AI RAG tool made by myself, and the way it works is like ChatGPT. So I'm going to set a set of parameters and type in the project I have in mind. And then the AI will go through all the projects here that really exist in Kurdistan and find out if there are similar projects, so that before we approve or start or any kind of projects, we can check the redundancy to see if we're not wasting money. That's how it works. I'll just make a short demo to make sure I don't waste time. So this is how you do it. You put a project title, select a sector, and then select how many number of similar projects you want to see. Select the province, which would be Erbil, and then you set up the max radius. This parameter is putting our project that we have in mind at the center, how far you want to search. So right now, I'll just disable it. That means our AI will search for entire Iraq. So this project I have in mind right now is about building a hospital in Erbil. We thought if we make a hospital in Erbil Governorate, it could help a lot of people. We want to check if there are any similar projects in Iraq or Kurdistan to make sure that this project is valuable. Well, let me show how it works. It takes a little bit of time. As you see, on the top part is the map. So this is what our AI found. It took about only 7 seconds, right? So this project we have in the center is a project we had in mind, project of making a hospital in Erbil Governorate for the people who need instant surgery. And meanwhile, on whole Iraq, we have a lot of hospital projects here. Thankfully, we don't have anything in Erbil. But as you see, now the AI has already detected the similar projects in a descending order. So the higher the score means the more similar it is. Here on the top project says, there's a project made by Korea in the center of Baghdad. It's about critical care specialty hospital in Medical City. This is a real one, and the hospital is already completed. And this is a very good result because our project, honestly, I made it out from this one. So I copied it, changed the government districts, and then put it into the AI to see if it successfully detects a similar project. And as you see, it was very successful. So in this case, you can conclude that our AI is working well. I done this demo like with 30 different scenarios, and all of them were satisfying. I'd like to show you a lot of things, but because I don't have enough time for today, I will just end the demo here and keep going on with the presentation. Later on, if you want to try it, I'll share the URL. I hope you can have some fun with it. And let's keep going on with the presentation. Okay, so the technology behind, I won't go through so much of it, but I just want to talk about this part. This part is the most important thing in all AI products. This is like the fundamental technology of how AI works. It's about vectors. I hope a lot of you come from the STEM, the science sector. So what we do for all AI data is we make everything into vectors. So a vector is a number with directions, right? An arrow pointing somewhere with a value. That is a vector. And eventually, for all computers, anything made by a computer, anything that is inside a computer is eventually a vector, a number. It's a value. So what we can do is, for all the data we have, any information, any knowledge, we can change it into numbers and we can calculate. So we can calculate how similar these two are. To make it easy, if you have a sentence like, I am a boy, and you have another sentence, I am a young man, these two are similar in meanings, right? And magically, if you convert that into vectors in the vector space, and you see the numbers and calculate the similarity, the two shows up to be very similar. But that is how things work. So you convert things into vectors, make it in numbers, make the calculation, and then revert back into text. That is how all AI products work. That is the technology behind what I made. And the important part is, the reason why we can trust our program that is successful and it's real is because the data we trained it on it is using RAG technology on the most trustable data we have in the ODA sector, which is the OECD stats database. That is why, I'm sorry, it's going through automatically, but anyway, so that is the core theory of RAG. We are training an AI once more on the data we can trust, right? This time it was OECD data. But in other words, in other cases, we can use different kind of set of documents. For example, think about AI about a lawyer AI. You're going to make a lawyer AI and train that AI lawyer on the whole encyclopedia of KRI laws. You're going to train it on all the laws you have, all the statements, all the laws and the government policies that has been ever announced in Kurdistan. Then you're going to have a lawyer that never lies, because it's only going to focus on what is really inside the law, and then it's going to produce answers about any kind of questions you have related to the law. Like if you are buying a house in Erbil, or if you are running into some cases during the business and you don't know if I'm illegal or not. You ask the AI lawyer and it will say, based on law number 5 of the Kurdistan region of this policy, yes, you are fine, or you have to pay about $2,200 as a penalty. It's going to instantly produce the laws that you are breaking. And because we're using the technology on trustable documents. That is how it works. So in the near future, you're not going to see lawyers anymore. AI may be replacing it. So let's go to the final answer. How am I going to do this? How am I going to use this technology to improve research effectiveness? This was all I wanted to talk about today. This diagram and this sheet is everything you need today to see how it works. So in academic research, so already this is not even the future. It's already present. It could be past. A lot of researchers are using this technology in their daily research, in their labs, their workplaces, and those who don't use it and don't know how it works will likely stay behind now. That's going to happen. So in the academic research, what you do usually for researchers are you gather information around the world, gather data, you gather documents, research papers, and everything you need to write a good paper or to justify your findings, right? So you have to read them, study them, and you spend a lot of time doing that. But now in the world, instead of doing that, you just gather them. You just put them all inside the same database. It doesn't matter what the format is. Even if it's PDF, images, or broken text, Excel data, it doesn't matter. You just grab everything you need, and then you put it in the RAG database and let AI do the work instead of humans. So meanwhile, you have a set of trustable documents, trustable data, and then you're going to train the AI, a famous AI that is already on the field, for example, GPT-5, and you're going to make GPT-5 to learn what you have. You have a bunch of data. You say, GPT-5, this is what I have. You learn on it, and then you master it to make sure that everything inside this box is now yours, and whatever I ask or whatever kind of experiment I make to check the to verify it, validate it, it's your job now. Make no errors, never lie, and make sure everything I do is correct and meaningful, right? And then you make, as if you're working with ChatGPT, you start asking questions. You say, so the experiment result of the first run on the lab of chemistry this week, we had a result of like 4.5. Tell me how good this is compared with the most advanced research papers that has already been released in the world. It will tell you 4.5 is only about top 30% of the experiments that already had been conducted. And what are better for you, you have to refer to these citations. Or, like if you made something really remarkable, it could instantly tell you this was the highest score that we have ever had, including all the researchers globally. So yes, your finding was remarkable and just would be like a shocking finding in this sector. That is how RAG is going to that is how the RAG AI is going to teach you. And even more, you can just start writing the paper itself with the AI fully. For example, you're going to have a super smart assistant 24/7 right next to you that does the job instead of you. Not just writing down things, but calculating, measuring, comparing, analyzing, drawing charts, and even making justifiable statements to make your research and findings powerful than any other people. That is how RAG works in the research sector. And this is real, and already hundreds and thousands of papers are produced like this way. And the secret is, no one knows if this is written by a human being or AI. I'll tell you one thing very interesting, a story. So last year I finished my master's degree, and one of the courses was generative AI, because at the time that was the most popular thing. And I wrote a research paper as a final assignment. It was related to some generative AI technology. When I was doing that, I used RAG. I made my own RAG pipeline. I gathered all the things I needed, and I just exactly followed these guidelines and made the report with AI from the start to the beginning. I made it, I refined it, and I submitted it. And what happened? The professor gave me A+. He said this was the best paper I've ever read throughout the class for all those years. He doesn't know that I used AI, but that happened. He's a professional data scientist, AI master, but they can't tell. So afterwards, in the future, nobody's going to be able to tell if this was AI generated or human generated. So the power nowadays is going to be how much more you can maximize the power of AI in your work, not instead of competing against AI. The real question is going to be how good you are at dealing with it. Anyway, I'm confessing something I did wrong. I don't think I did wrong, but anyway, that happened before. So, okay, now let's conclude today's topic with the real world use cases. I think I have 5 minutes left. So how are we going to use these in your daily work? You know that this technology is already here. So how are we going to do it? Of course, the best way is to develop your own RAG system for your institute or university. But yes, that requires money and manpower. If I was a businessman, probably I would be saying now is a time to hire me. I only cost you $500,000 a year. But as you know, I'm a government person and I don't do that. And instead, I will introduce you some assistant AI models that are already on the field that could help you. I'm not really good at using these because I prefer making it myself. But as you see, there are tools already that can help you instantly. One of them are called Elicit. This is directly RAG research. This was made to do this work. Another one is called Semantic Scholar. And Semantic Scholar, before it was just like a search engine, but after RAG was implemented there, now it shows very promising results with AI technology. So these two work similarly. Whatever you have in mind, for example, if you use Elicit and you have a lot of data and you have a lot of documents that are going to use to produce your paper, you just upload it and it will start analyzing and make a RAG pipeline for you, customized. And then after you finish all the work, you can start asking questions and getting answers, or even writing draft reports. And that way, of course, initially AI did a lot of work for you, but at the end, probably you will be adding your own values as human beings, and then make a very fascinating research paper that could really be meaningful. Honestly, I don't think this is cheating. And this is how things are going to change in the near future. So, as closing, the main purpose of today's presentation was not to introduce you some kind of a fascinating AI technology. That was not what I was trying to do. The message I really wanted to deliver was that you have to expand your boundaries of imagination and seek for insights. So the majority of the things you imagine about AI these days, you think like, maybe AI can do this, or maybe AI can do that. I'll tell you the answer. Probably AI already knows how to do it. It's just that you don't know how AI works to do it. So what you need is, you don't have to be AI engineers. You don't have to be able to write the codes like me. All you need is insights. You need to draw the image of how AI is capable of, and how the world would be with AI in the next coming days. So what's going on and what will happen now? That's the only thing you need to know. So as a conclusion, I'd like to recommend, don't become a person that's fighting against AI. Rather, try to manipulate and take the highest advantages, maximize the usability, and make more values that only human beings can create. So don't forget, AI is just a tool. And the power of humanities comes from creativity and imagination. I hope you enjoyed today's topic. I left 15 minutes for Q&As, and thank you for listening. Zor spas.
Thank you so much, Dr. John Yonjon. I really appreciate your presentation. Let's start for the questions time. Doctors, teachers, students, participants, if you have any kind of the questions, you can just raise your hand, and Dr. John's gonna answer each of you one by one. If you like to ask a question in Kurdish, that's fine. We're gonna translate it to him. Let's see who gonna ask the questions first.
Let me answer this one first. I saw it. Mr. Wand, thank you very much for the valuable lecture. And I would like to ask whether artificial intelligence lies or tries to lie. Okay, that's a very, very interesting question. And as an AI engineer, I would say, honestly, we don't know and we are kind of scared of it. So we think it's not trying to lie, but it's like we assume it's because of the limited information and the that we push AI, we directed it, somehow you have to make them answer. You cannot say, I don't know, or just not reply. That is why we believe that AI is lying. But there are some people who have the Terminator Skynet theory that no, AI is trying to lie and tricking on human beings. There are people like that. So let's see what's the truth. And it's a very interesting topic that people are researching about. Okay.
Thank you, Doctor.
Gosh, Dr. Bildas, I think you have to go to the questions and then I will answer. There are a lot of questions here.
Yeah. There's a questions from the chat box, Doctor.
Oh, okay. The slides, yes, I will share with that organization. So
Yes.
I think Dr. Bildas can
Thank
share.
you so much. Thank you. Yeah, that's one of the points. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for organizing. I'm just reading it, just a minute. Oh, okay, that was a comment. Thank you. And yes, it's true. And let me just add something before going to the, I saw 2 hands raised, but let me just conclude with this one. In the academia, in the universities, these days, professors, they admit that we have only 2 directions. One is going back to the 1800s. Like now, no internet, we close everything. You go into the classroom with a paper and a pencil. Without any access to AI, let's see what your skills really are, because we don't want you to trick the professors with AI technology. That is one, going back to the 18th century. And the other one is, so now we know every student, all of you are using AI when doing assignments or even doing the test. So as a professor, I will consider all of you are using AI. So let's see how far you can go. How much maximize can you on with AI power, and what are the deliverables? So let's assess that, considering that you already use AI. So those are the only 2 directions right now we have. Okay.
Thank you. Dr. Askander, you can ask your questions, please.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for this meeting, and this is a very important topic, especially nowadays. But I have a question about the risk of rising. You know that nowadays they're relying on AI too heavily. I think it is become like a mental substitution, which is dangerous. We know that nowadays, for example, because of the transmission, we don't walk. All of us, we use a car or any transmission. And this is become like this, I think, which is very dangerous. You have any idea or any question in your mind, directly you ask the AI. And I found that I checked ChatGPT and Gemini also. Some questions, for example, I know they understand what I say, and the question about the book, which is reference, which is available on all the websites and familiar. And I asked about this book and especially about the topic and the page number, but it answered me in a wrong way, and there is a mistake in it. And I think relying on the AI for everything, it is dangerous even for our brain, and also as you mentioned in your speaking about the lying to us. Thank you for your answers.
Yes, I completely agree with you, and that is one of the biggest challenges that academia is facing these days. A lot of students are heavily relying on AI, and as you just mentioned, even in UC Berkeley, we together did an experiment. A very interesting one was that, so we opened a topic like, for example, do you think, let's say, strict discipline to a child is better than approaching friendly? So it's like an open conversation. Anyone can have any ideas, right? So if you usually start talking about a topic like this with 4 people, human beings, they will start arguing and telling, in my idea, in my opinion, and they will have debates. And then throughout all those debates, you will get to the conclusion. That is how human beings react, right? But the experiment was, instead of doing that, one group is doing that, the traditional human way, we discuss and debate about it, and the other group was just, okay, let's first ask ChatGPT and see what he answers. ChatGPT gave a very great answer. It was very sophisticated, and then suddenly all the people in that group started not speaking because we have nothing more to debate. ChatGPT gave us the answer, and that was perfect. And that way, we have a fear that humanity and the creativity, that core power of human beings might start to drop. And later on, that can make all of us idiots. So in the academia, in the university, I'm not a professor, but they are trying to somehow find a way where students can also keep pursuing human values and the human power, so that even when the world is like AI dominated and everyone is using AI, we still keep go on with what our human beings are good at, so that we don't lose our powers. All right, next is Dr. Nabaz.
Yes, Dr. Nabaz, please go ahead.
Yeah, good night, everyone. Thank you so much to discuss and talking about AI. As we know, actually, AI around all the world is very fast, especially it is related with globalization. I think it is an element. It is another one, globalization as a fast way to get full understanding to needs nowadays. Actually, my question is, how can we make balance between AI with globalization? For especially in university, especially in schools. Why? Because actually we are the ender of impacted globalization. Globalization, in a way, we can say AI is globalization. How can we make balance both of them? Thank you so much.
Yes, that is an open question, and we have to think a lot about it. But as an AI engineer, let me share some facts. For example, the technology increase rate of AI, the speed of how AI technology is growing is like impossible for a human being to catch up, honestly. We call that the bleeding edge theory. So it is like climbing a cliff for all data scientists, no matter how brilliant he or she is. It's like you're dangling on a cliff and you're trying to get higher and higher. It's painful and you're bleeding, but every minute the cliff is getting higher. So eventually you're going to give up, and you give up in a certain point, and the cliff is already like 50 stories high. So it means human beings cannot catch up the speed of AI technical development. And like, I don't know if some people remember, but 2 years ago, I think 2 years ago, Elon Musk once, the founder of Tesla, he said, please, the world, let's stop AI development just for 6 months. He once said that. And a lot of people said, you are lying, because meanwhile, the 6 months, you're going to make an AI and you're going to just kill all the competitors, right? So they just ignored. But what really happened was that statement was not released by Elon Musk himself. 200 other data scientists coming from Apple, Microsoft, Google, they joined him and made the co-statement to let the world, let's please stop, because we're losing control. And yes, that is a dangerous theory, and honestly, I don't really have the solution for it. Everybody's working on it, and let's see all together how to make balance and not be overwhelmed and lose human values because of this technology. Let me just go to the chats, and then I will go for Mr. Ibrahim. Okay, so next one was okay, I know the answer of this one. So a student without having prior reading knowledge of the topic, is this a save on time or losing cognitive ability? I will say it's losing. So whatever you do with AI, at least you need to know, you need to have the insights and the knowledge enough to tell whether this is trustable or not. For example, for me, because I know computer science, if AI is talking something about the computer, I can tell, I think these points are a lie. Are you sure about it? I can ask GPT, right? Then he will answer, oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. But if one person has no idea with computer and he asks the questions, then probably he will just copy and paste. So in PhDs or master degrees, this is easily detectable by the professors, so that's not going to work. So learning never dies. That is what I want to say. And let's see. If we write a report with the AI app you mentioned and check the similarity with Turnitin, it is still possible to know it is written with AI. So yes, these days, now some people are making AI tools that detect whether this was written by ChatGPT or not. There are some products, right? But let me answer it this way. How do you know that AI is not lying to you as well? So more and more, you're not going to be able to tell whether this was made by AI or made by human beings. It's going to get more difficult in the future. And another thing is, so how much would be the percentage? Let's say I wrote a story. 70% of it was written by me, and only 30% was written by an AI. I combined the two and made a story, and people loved it. Can I say this was written by AI or written by me? 70% is fine, then what about 60, 50? You see, so the boundaries and the limitations, we can't decide. So it's going to get hard. I don't think that's a good way to, let's say, deal with AI technology, but eventually, because it's not going to work like that. Okay, thank you. And let's go to Dr. Ibrahim, who raised his hand.
Good evening, Mr. Jong. Good evening, colleagues, students. Mr. Jong or Dr. Jong, I'm not sure about the title. What your expect is for a kind of jobs or career with AI threats in next 10 years, for example, in the sector of education and higher education, or in sector of NGO? For example, my work, my title is lecturer of media. In media, we have, it's my personal expectation. I expect that, for example, the news editors, that the translators, that the data collectors, that the technical TV editors, for example, AI could create these jobs because you do it without human effort, for example. So in education and higher education, do you think any career or job could threat in the next 10 years, please?
Yes, well, to be honest, I think AI is targeting every job. Even for AI engineers, we know that AI is a better programmer than me. So no job is safe from AI. But like, for example, you gave me the example of translators. Yes, now Google AI translation or GPT translation is so good that it looks like you don't even need translators, but still you have translators. Like, it's still, there is some portion where human beings are essential and machine can't just, because it's human interaction. Like eventually, even for the next 10 years, probably people in the high level people will still prefer human translators because that's more comfortable and that is more natural and it makes more sense. And if you talk about the education sector, there is some theory these days, it's a big debate in the universities, is that, so the way we learn, there is a traditional way of learning, right? So let's say we're learning a new software in the computer science sector. Then what we do is usually we buy a book. We buy a book and then we go through each chapter and then we listen to lectures, we get lessons, and probably it's going to take about 6 months and you master that technology. For example, it's PowerPoint. So you're going to have 6 months of learning and then you know how to use it well. That is a traditional way of learning. But AI learning is kind of destroying this methodology. So now it's like target-wise. So the reason why you learn PPT is to make some sort of a slide, right? So the way AI does is guide you directly to the direction with the easiest way to approach and making it much more speedy and like saving time. So for example, it will take only 3 weeks for me to learn that, to achieve my goal, compared to traditional learning, which used to take 6 months. So if this theory starts to dominate the education sector, a lot of people are worried that the way of education itself might change, and now no more people will take lectures, or the way we study one by one, A to Z, and later on, like, people will just try to just get to the goal directly. That is a kind of an issue I would like to share. I hope I can answer all the questions, but this is up to you, Dr. Bilbas. Like, can I use more time?
Doctor, I have 1 more minute.
Okay.
Because we almost got 1 hour, okay?
Okay,
Or
let me
you can...
select one then.
Okay, please.
Let's see, how can we improve our skills, AI, for making a research, especially in university, while our doctor and professor tell us, do not use AI for research? Okay. Like I told you right now, in the scholars, there are only 2 directions. One, never use AI. I'm going to make sure if you cheat with AI, I'm going to give you an F. And so no internet, no AI. If you want an F, you use it. This is one direction. And the other one is, okay, everyone use AI. All of you, try your best. Do your best and maximize your powers, and I will give you the grades, considering that you already used AI with this. And let's see how good you can do. So these are the 2 directions we have. But as an AI engineer, I think eventually people will go to the second direction. So right now we are in the mid. There are a lot of conflicts and debates, conversations, but the technology is not stopping. And I think in the near future, eventually people will start to understand that we can't avoid AI anymore. Okay, that was my conclusion. Doctor, I think it's okay to conclude.
Thank you so much for everyone for participating to our webinars today. Finally, we are done in here. Thank you so much, Dr. John Yon Jo, for your presentation. It was really great for us about the using AI and enhancing in the scientific research. See you next week, everyone. Okay, may Allah bless you, everyone. Thank you so much for everyone.
Thank you so much
coming today. Thank you. See you soon. May Allah bless you. Thank you so much, Mr. John. Thank you, doctors. Thank you, students, teachers, participants, everyone who is here. Okay, thank you so much. May Allah bless you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
See you
Have a
soon.
good night. See you. Bye-bye.